There's a caveat to this. You can do it, but whenever you reach an agreement with them, you're going to have to pay them in one lump sum. Bankruptcy. It's kind of a scary word when you think about it. You know, what's it mean to be bankrupt? You know, are you penniless? Are you homeless? My experience, you don't have to file bankruptcy. There's a lot of people that get in debt over their head. Some might say it's the American way. But you don't have to file bankruptcy, and I'll tell you why. You need to use that tool, bankruptcy, as a tool and as leverage. Let's say you have 6 credit cards that you just got maxed out, and you're struggling to make ends meet. A lot of people will tell you to go file bankruptcy. I'm going to tell you, no, don't do it. That bankruptcy is going to follow you for 10 years on your credit, and could impact you even for a couple of years beyond that 10 years. I'm going to tell you, debt settlement, negotiate. I'm going to tell you, find you a good general practice attorney. Okay, you can even use an accountant if you want to, but an attorney is going to be able to negotiate better with you, I believe, than what an accountant would. But a lot of these general practice attorneys, they're, small firms, 1 or 2 lawyers, and a lot of them started off as collection lawyers, and they know how the game is played. Find you a good general practice attorney and go sit down and talk with them and tell them, look, I'm looking to do some debt settlement work. I've got these credit cards. I've got this auto loan. I really don't want to file bankruptcy. I will if I have to, but I would rather approach these creditors that I have from a standpoint of, let's find a reasonable settlement we can both live with. There's a caveat to this. You can do it, but whenever you reach an agreement with them, you're going to have to pay them in one lump sum. They're not going to, say, okay, I'll settle for 15 cents on the dollar, and then I'll take payments on that. That's not going to work. You can take, I actually know a guy who had about $16,000 in credit card debt on one credit card, and he settled that for less than $3,000. Credit card companies know if you file bankruptcy, they get nothing. They're going to get absolutely nothing. So they would much rather settle at a reduced rate than to have you go file bankruptcy and them get nothing. They can get something or they can get nothing. Back in 2008, 2007, 2008, when the economy tanked, George Bush was still in office. They say it's the worst recession that we've had since the Great Depression. You heard a lot back then about these subprime mortgages, people who didn't even have jobs getting mortgages. I learned a lesson back then that I never knew before. A friend of mine, who is an attorney, told me I was complaining to him about I had tried to go to my lender and I wanted to restructure my mortgage and try to get things at a lower rate because the rates were tanking at the time. And he told me something. He said, let me approach the lender as if I'm buying it. So an attorney, a friend of mine, went to the lender on the pretense that he was wanting to buy my loan for an investment for himself. Now, I could not do this. Lenders will often sell these loans to other lenders, to investors, things like that. We saved over $100,000, like $134,000 or something like that. We saved over $100,000 on our mortgage. I paid off my mortgage for $67,000 and change. And that's it. All right. So we saved on the principal and the interest. I gave him the money. He went and bought my loan from the lender, and he gave me the deed. The loan's all been paid. This is the kind of information banks don't want you to have, and it could cost them literally hundreds of thousands of dollars if everybody started doing this. Everything in life is negotiable. Everything. They used to say everything but death and taxes, but nowadays even taxes are negotiable. Don't accept the status quo. Get creative. You know, Christian, a friend of mine, known him for 20 plus years. I thought he was off as a rocker. He went and had a bunch of these signs made up, kind of like politicians use for their campaigns. All these corrugated plastic signs. And he put them all around the different neighborhoods where he was interested in buying a home. He didn't want to go through a realtor. He thinks less of realtors than what I do. He had these signs made up that said, wanted 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath home in this neighborhood, willing to pay up to blank, and then put his phone number. That's how he wound up buying his house. And like I said, at the time I thought he was nuts. Nobody does that. He got creative. He got him a very nice brick home, a little small rancher style house, perfect for him. He's single, and he got it for well below what he would have got it for had he gone through a realtor. Because you know, realtors like to, well, let's look at the comps in the area. Well, the comps in the area are all in this price range. That's a bunch of hooey. My point to you is this: never accept the status quo. Don't just go along to get along. Think for yourself. Be willing to kind of step out of the norm, step out of your comfort zone, and negotiate. You don't have to accept what's offered. Never, ever do you have to accept what's offered. You can always make counter offers. Doesn't matter if it's for a job offer. Doesn't matter if it's for debt settlement. Doesn't matter if it's for home ownership, car buying, whatever. Everything is negotiable. And there's always, always, always a way that you can get what you want and not spend near as much money. I'm going to put a picture of my house in this video. My house is 5,318 square feet. It's actually 3 levels. The entire basement is a finished basement, and it's essentially the 1,600 square foot apartment where our youngest daughter lives. My wife and I have the entire top floor. The kitchen, living room, dining room, family room, such as that. The ground level floor, we pretty much have all of that. Our daughter uses that space, from time to time as needed. But for the most part, she stays in her little apartment down there. She's got a full bath, huge bedroom with an enormous walk-in closet. Her walk-in closet is as big as a lot of people's bedrooms. She's got a full kitchen. She's got her own living room, dining room. So like I said, it's basically a 1,600 square foot apartment. And then my wife and I pretty much have the other 2 floors. And I live on a golf course. The 12th green is right outside my back door. So you can have whatever you want if you're willing to go in debt for it. Or you can have what you want if you're willing to get creative and negotiate. Always. Anyway, you guys be safe. I'll see you on the road. See you, bye.